Good morning, Carolyn, Mona, Lynn, Cindy. I'm in a different location. They turned off my electricity today. So it's like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? So I came over to my sister's house so I could still teach and be here with you and for you all. Hi, Susan. Rainy Tempe. Wow. So it's raining. It's actually super sunny here, super beautiful. And not too hot. Atlanta. Hi, Tatiana. Stevie, good morning. So here we are all over the world, in our homes, out of our homes, all of it. All right. Well, I'm just grateful we could do this. And I just had a session with one of my clients in London this morning. So it's just amazing that we can do this. And I just want to report something. I'll share this in my testimonial section at some point too. But I had somebody email me this morning. Now, I've been working with this person since like almost a year, doing all the functional labs, food sensitivity, stool, all of it. She just had her DEXA scan. She had her DEXA scan 18 months ago. And, usually you can only get results about every year. Bone turnover is a pretty slow moving tissue, which is good because that means breakdown is also slower than the building up. And so she had her DEXA scan and it's been 18 months, about 18 months. Oh my goodness. She had 4 readings to share with me. And oh my gosh, she went from a 3.6 to a 3.3 in her lumbar spine. What? She's in her 70s. They say that we can't build bone. Yeah, right. That's 3 points in one area. In her hip, there are 2 different readings on the hips, a 1 point increase for one of them and a 2 point in the other. That is crazy. And that's because we uncovered a lot of things, issues that she had, parasites, different things that were happening in her body that she's managing. She practices all the time. So physical asana. So I wrote, you did, capital DID, reverse your osteoporosis because it is reversible. So, oh my gosh, more and more. I'll be sharing more and more information like this from those who share the results with me. But my point of telling you all this, and I've reversed mine, right? I went 2 points difference in one DEXA to the other, like 0.2 shift. So my point is that yes, you're not going to see this very much out there. And doctors actually, I don't think legally, well, not all of them, but Dr. Hyman told me that it was reversible. And he's a medical doctor. But they're not really allowed to use that terminology. They have to be careful with their licensure and stuff. So you're not going to hear it yet. I'm going to be out there being much more vocal about this because osteoporosis is reversible. And that's why you're here. And that's why we're doing this. And that's why, even though I don't have electricity, I came somewhere to teach this because I know it's that important for all of us. So it is awesome, Cindy. It's like amazing, right? So super, super happy to report that. Can't wait to turn that into a testimonial, maybe video. But if not, still in written form for you to all see the numbers and to realize that this is something that we can reverse. All right. So I'm going to go, if you don't have anything else to say to me, I think the lighting is great, right? Honestly, I think every time I go somewhere else to teach, the lighting is better than my house. Maybe I should move. Or maybe I should travel more and just be everywhere, which is what I do plan to do. Some of these classes in this next session will not be done in Los Angeles. They'll be taught from other locations. So, all right. Anything else to big hope? 100%, Tatiana. Totally. And even more than hope, Tatiana. I know that we start off that way, right? We say we hope that we can reverse our osteoporosis. Of course, we hope. But in actuality, it's even more than a hope because it is real that yes, we can reverse osteoporosis. And if we start from the top of what are the main things that are important for osteoporosis, the 2 main things are that you have to pull and push on your bones. You have to create the appropriate stress, which is what we'll be doing today, and managing your mental emotional state so that your internal environment is bone building. And then you have to make sure that you have the building blocks. And that's where you have to look at the function. You have to look at your gut health and your mineral status and food sensitivities and all the factors that will have an effect on whether or not you have the nutrients to build bone tissue. So let's get to it and practice. I want to put a little disclaimer for today. There is a dog in this house, and she is a very, she barks a lot if she hears like the postman or something. So we might have a disruption of her barking. And if we do, I want us to treat that as a stressor in life or something we have to learn how to not pay attention to in our lives. Because stress is a huge aspect of illness and contributor to bone loss. So we all have things in our lives that are very loud, things that we have to not pay attention to, sometimes ignore, sometimes not deal with, or sometimes put on the back burner for now to actually minimize our exposure to whatever it is that we're managing. So just in case you hear a dog barking, let's just breathe through it. All right. The focus of today's practice is on balance, because bones don't break because they're fall, they break because they're fragile. So we're going to focus on the areas of the body to strengthen that will support balance. And that's all over the body. That's everywhere. And so do what you can. Whatever you can, hold for as long as you can, stay in it as long as you can. If you fall out of a posture, if we're doing a balance, like a single leg balance or something, come back in and out, in and out. And then you'll notice over time that you're going to develop strength in the areas of balance, which are so many. They're all over the body. All right. So for today's practice, please get a block and a strap and a blanket. And we're gonna start where we're gonna actually manipulate our spine, because our spine is in such a forward position throughout the day. So this is one of my favorite postures to do, is to take a blanket and to roll up the blanket and turn this into a support for my spine. So I'm gonna roll this pretty tightly, and this is a pretty thick blanket, so it's gonna be a big, big opener. This is going to elevate my body about 4 inches off the ground. And then when I put my arms into this position or this position, it's going to be a very deep stretch in the chest, in the shoulders, and in the front of the spine, which is really what we want. We want this front spine nice and long. So put your blanket here, put your props off to the side, and then coming down onto the ground with osteoporosis, you reach your hand away from you, and you bring yourself all the way down onto your blanket, and then find your way into the blanket or onto the blanket, closing your eyes, bringing your awareness to your body so you can start to feel your way into this as you start to work on alignment in your skeleton, stretching joints, the spine and the shoulder joint, which is going to help support balance. So close your eyes, find your way into the blanket is supporting the spine. Center of the head is on the blanket. And then the arms go out to the side and start to move into wherever you need to feel an appropriate stretch for you. For your chest, for your shoulders. Find appropriate. And then noticing if there's any tension in the head or the neck. You could do a little side to side, depending how thick, heavy, and big the blanket is, will determine how deep this stretch could be in your neck. So close your eyes, move side to side slowly. Turn on your inner eyeballs. And then bring yourself back to center. Bring your awareness to your legs. You could keep your knees bent, or you could explore straightening the legs. See what feels appropriate for your body. Bring your awareness to your right leg. Let your right leg be heavy. See if you could turn off some of the muscles voluntarily. And then bring your awareness to your left leg. Same thing. Let the left leg be heavy and relaxed. If you bring your awareness to your exhales, On your exhale, allow relaxation to come into your body. And bring your awareness to your pelvis. Couple of exhales here to soften and relax your pelvis. With the exhale, feel the heaviness of your pelvis sinking towards the ground. Bring your awareness to your left arm. Let your left arm be heavy. Each exhale, the arm gets heavy, more heavy. And then bring your awareness over to your right arm. Get really heavy. Let your muscles relax. And then bring your awareness to your rib cage. Let your rib cage relax. Let it be heavy. Spine heavy. Bring your awareness to your head. Let your head go. These next few exhales, see if you could let your body be as heavy as possible, and notice if there's anywhere you are still holding. Bring your awareness to your rib cage. Keep your mouth closed. Breathe in through your nose deeply so you feel the stretch of your rib cage. When we pull on bones, that's when we create strength. So breathe so deeply, feel your lungs stretching your rib cage, and let the muscles that are attaching onto the ribs, let them pull on your ribs as much as possible to strengthen your ribs. So try to be bigger in your rib cage than you usually are so that your bones and muscles will respond by getting stronger and bigger as you ask for more. Take 3 more breaths like this. Let your breath go. Keep your mouth closed. Let's take the elbows down towards the waist. Palms are up towards the sky. Exhale. Inhale, let your arms come towards overhead. Maybe you're able to let your middle finger touch, or your pointer finger, or your fingers. Exhale, elbows to waist. Inhale, arms are overhead. Exhale down. Inhale, arms go overhead. One more, all the way up. Bring your arms back out to the side. Let your arms rest. Bend your knees one at a time if their legs are straight. Take your feet wide, maybe off the mat or maybe the width of the mat. Keep your spine stationary. Keep your rib cage straight up, pointing straight up towards the sky. Palms are up towards the sky. You're going to begin to gently move your knees side to side. Keep the soles of the feet on the ground. Keep the pelvis on the ground. Keep the spine on your blanket. So isolating the movement in the hip joint. Your head, your spine, your pelvis, your upper torso is stationary, and you're moving the legs independently of the rest of your body. Lubricating your hip joint. Big aspect of balance is the hip. Trying to figure out where the top part of your body is in space. And then bring yourself back to center. You're going to come onto your side. So come all the way off the blanket onto the side. Let your spine relax here. So after being in that extension position, you want to come to this position here. Your blanket is still behind you. Let's do a little for this shoulder joint. When we focus on balance, the top part of the body, we need the top part of the body to be flexible so that we can strengthen the back of the body to hold you in a nice aligned and good postural position. And then we want to stretch the front of the body. So let's work on the shoulder here. Do a couple of arm circles. You inhale when you come forward. You exhale when your arm goes back. You inhale to come forward and exhale to go to the back. The palm faces down and then the palm faces up. Let's go in the other direction. Palm is up, reach as far as you can, and then palm is down. Feel that stretch in the armpit, feel the stretch in the shoulder. One more. And then bring yourself back. We're going to go to the other side. So if you can, roll across your blanket, come to the other side so that the blanket stays at the back. And then begin your circles, any direction. You inhale when your hand comes back. Your chest points up towards the sky. Palm is down towards the ground, reaching long. So stretching the muscles of the shoulder girdle. Inhale forward, or exhale forward, inhale to open. One more circle in this direction. And then let's go the other direction. Palm down in front of you, exhale, and then inhale, turn the palm up. One more. And then bring yourself back to center. We're going to come up from this position. So you take your hand onto the ground, use your hand in your elbow, pushing yourself up, bring yourself all the way up. Starting to move our body. When we're focusing on balance, we want to focus on a couple of different aspects. We want to focus on strengthening the muscles and the joints that help to manage balance. We want to strengthen our brain, our eyes, our ears, and the receptivity in the brain. So keeping yourself in as long as possible and coming back in if you fall out, not going into a defeated place. And then we want to work on the challenge itself. Wherever we put our body and it has to figure out where you are in space, that's going to be a part of what fortifies the balance in your body. So let's take our blanket and either fold your blanket in two or whatever you need for your knees. So I'm going to begin this with a strengthening practice. And this is tremendous for strengthening the stabilizing muscles. It's a challenge. So I want to give you some options and I want you to do the best that you can. I'm going to start off with this because it's the beginning of the practice. We've got all of our strength with us here. This is called around the core, and it strengthens the front, the back, and the sides of your body and all of the structural elements, the joints, the muscles, and all the parts that are really important for balance. So I want to demo this first. So you could do the full version, which is plank to side plank to the other side plank to bridge. And the bridge posture, we do the bridge posture. This is the back of the body when we come into our bridge. Okay, so that is what this sequence around the core will be. If that is too much for you, because it can be a lot, you could come onto your forearms. You could do your forearm plank, and you could do your side work in forearms, or you could leave the legs down when we come to that part. So whatever you do it. Maybe I'm going to do 3 breaths on the side plank. I'm going to do 6 breaths in the plank and 9 breaths in bridge. And so you modify according to what your needs are. You may need to come down a little earlier than I do, and we're going to do this. So this is a really great one. So this is a power move to add to your life every day, circling the core, front, side, back, body work. 6 breaths for plank, 3 for side plank, and 9 for bridge. And then you do what's appropriate for you. So have your blanket ready. Let's come on to all fours. Take your hands on your mat. Any variation that you're going to do, bring one foot back and then the other, and begin your breaths here. 6 breaths in plank. Coming down to take a break in between. Catch your breath if you need, or you could go right into the side plank. Coming on to side plank. Legs go back. Lifting your pelvis, rolling onto the outside edge of your foot. 3 breaths here. Bring yourself down, switch sides. Bring yourself down. Shake your wrists. Coming down to do 9 breaths in the bridge posture. Blanket could be there for your pelvis, or you could move it off to the side. Bring yourself down, keep your front spine nice and long. Make yourself narrow across the chest. Bring the arms to the side. Walk the feet close to your body. Lengthen your neck. Push your low back into the ground. Squeeze your tushy. Inhale. Peel your spine up and away from the floor. Arms are straight or arms are bent. 9 breaths in bridge. When you finish your last breath, bring yourself down. Hands on the belly, catch your breath. Come onto your side. Push away from the ground with your hand and your elbow. Don't lift up with your head. Close your eyes. Sit in whatever position your knees will allow. Breathe down to your pelvis. Bring your breath rate back to a natural pace. And blink your eyes open. So that is a fantastic total body strengthener, supporting balance, supporting joint strength, muscular strength, bone strength. The front of the body, the back of the body uses a lot of muscles at once. So it's a really great way to get in there and get a lot of aspects of healthy aging and of bone health right away. So that would be a great daily sequence to have. And then you match the breaths with where you are in your ability. Sometimes you can do 10 breaths in each posture. Kind of hard when you do that on the side plank. And then if you practice up against a wall, the side plank might be a little easier and maybe you can get more into the strengthening aspect of that. So try that, circling the core, around the core, add that to your treasure chest of healthy aging and healthy bones practices. So let's move on. The blanket is on the mat if you'd like, and then come to sit on the blanket. Let's balance first on our pelvis in the tailbone area. Take your legs pretty wide first. Do some side to side movements to warm up that hip joint a little more. Keep your chest lifted when you do this. Side to side. Feel the stretch of the hip flexor, the glutes, your body, strengthening the wrists while we're at it. And then bring yourself back to center. So we're going to do the posture called Navasana boat pose. And this is actually balancing at the base of your spine. So you're going to balance on your tailbone using the core and the hip flexor muscles to do this. So you do whatever variation is appropriate. We'll be holding this for 30 seconds. Walk your feet back. Lift your chest. Imagine you're like a proud peacock, really puffing up your chest here. Contract your core and then lift your legs off the floor. You could hold on here. You could hold on with all the whole hand, or 1 or 2 fingers, or you could bring your hands off. The full version of this is straight legs if you have that in your practice. I'm not practicing with straight legs. Lift your heart, really push your chest forward. Contract your core, activate your core, hug your lumbar spine. And then go ahead and bring yourself down. Bring the soles of the feet together. Catch your breath here. So we're going to move on to some spinal and upper back work, because this is a lot of where the transmission of the nervous system goes up and down the spinal column. So we want to make sure your spine is nice and lengthened. We want to stretch the front of the spine and strengthen the back. Stretching and lengthening the front body, and contracting and strengthening the back of the body. So we're going to do some movements here using the hip joint to move through this, to lubricate the body and warm up the body first, and then to bring in the strengthening practices to help lay down that foundation of muscular strength that's important for balance and for posture. So have your blanket on your mat, maybe down to the lower edge, and then have your block nearby. Let's bring the block onto the mat. For some of you, this may be what you need. So we're going to do a little bit of movement here to warm up the hip joint, to warm up the spine and lengthen the spine. The important thing is that you realize that the movement needs to be here. You want to move the hip. That's what takes you back and forward. Back and forward is your hip. And you want to keep your head lifted, front of your spine long. As you move through this little warm-up sequence of warming up the front and the back body. So you're going to push the belly towards the thighs. Maybe you can put your forehead on your block, or for some of you, maybe you can even put your head on the floor. So whatever is appropriate for you. And then bring yourself forward. Bring your belly towards the ground, your head up. So maybe you can come through the full range at first, or maybe you need to go a little slow. Maybe you do this and this to warm up into this. Keep your head lifted. Do not let your head hang. And do whatever is what you can. You inhale forward. You exhale back. Either with the block or without, depending on what you need. Up dog, puppy dog. Bend your hip a lot. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Bring yourself forward. Stay here. Lift your heart. Stretch your belly. Breathe down to your belly. Feel that big stretch. And then bring yourself back up. So we're going to come down onto the ground. Bring yourself forward, forward. Take your hands wide and forward. And then start to unbend your pelvis. So start to bring your belly button closer to the ground. Keep your head lifted. Then start to bend your elbows. Slowly lower down if you can. And then bring your pelvis back so that your pelvis is on top of your mat. Let your legs be long, let the toes touch. Fold your hands, forehead is on the back of the hands. Exhale, inhale, lift your head up, and exhale, lower down. Push your arms into the ground, lift up. See if you could feel the muscles in the back working and the muscles in the front stretching. One more. Bring your forehead onto the ground, the arms to the side, long neck, long spine. Let your toes touch, push your legs into the ground, let your kneecaps come off the ground. Active legs. Exhale. Inhale to rise, a little higher. Exhale to lower. Close your eyes and feel the back muscles contract to lift you up. You can let your head go up here too. Don't let it just be a head movement. Let it be the whole upper trunk. Pushing your heart forward and lifting yourself up. One more. And then bring yourself down. Take your hands alongside your body, right by the armpits. Spread the hands. Push the hands into the ground and slide the hands back towards your legs. So you push down and then you try to slide them back. You may feel a little relief in the low back area. Push the pubis bone into the floor. Exhale. Inhale. Lift up. Exhale to lower. Push down with your hands. Inhale. Push your heart forward. Lift up and lower. One more. Push the hands down. Push the heart forward. Lift up. Stay here for a breath. And then lower down. Let's come into the locust posture. You could have your hands down alongside your body if you'd like, or you could clasp your hands behind your body. We're going to hold this for 30 seconds. Legs are long, toes are touching, soles of the feet are up towards the sky. Exhale. Inhale to rise. Lift your head up, lift your legs up, lift your arms. Feel that back bend. Push your heart forward. Lift your upper back up. Lift your head. Lift your legs, your arms. Strengthen the back of your body. Take one more breath. And then lower down. Turn your head to the right. Let the left ear and the left cheek touch the ground. Let your shoulders round forward. If you're feeling too much tension anywhere, you can take the right hand out to the side or bend the elbow. Stretching the neck, the upper back. This is a good way to see how much tension you have in the upper back and neck area. Because if you do a lot of tension, it's hard to let the ear and the cheek touch the ground. Breathe down to your belly. Take one more breath. Tuck the chin down towards the chest. Lift the head up. Turn your head to the left so the right ear, right cheek touches the ground. Notice if it feels the same on one side and the other. And if there's too much tension, take your left hand out to the side or bend the elbow. Breathe to your belly. Last breath. Bring one hand up and roll on to that side. Noticing how your body feels, how your back feels. The locust posture that we just did presses the vertebra into itself. So that's a spinal strengthening from a bone perspective. It's going to strengthen your spine. It's also going to strengthen the muscles of the posterior chain, which is important for alignment, posture, balance. And it's also really important for hip health and knee health. So if you do have hip or knee issues, you need to do more of the back body stuff, the side body stuff, so that you don't have the issues in the front of the body. Take your hand on the ground. You're going to look forward. You're going to push yourself up to a seated position. Pausing in between, going back and forth between effort and ease, challenging yourself, and then giving yourself the opportunity to relax. So close your eyes, take a couple of breaths down to your belly. And then open your eyes. So this next posture we're going to do for 30 seconds is called a reverse plank or a reverse tabletop. You're going to be pushing away from the ground now, using the posterior chain to hold up the weight of your pelvis. This is the largest bony structure in the body, and the heaviest bony aspect of you is the pelvis. So we're going to push this and lift this away from the ground, holding for 30 seconds if you can. Reverse plank also strengthens the wrists. So ideally, the fingers would be facing towards you and you become very narrow across the top of the front of your body. And if you need to modify the hands in a different position, do what you need to do. Feet are hip distance. You're going to take an exhale and then push away from the ground with your feet and your hands. Inhale to lift your pelvis, trying to come to a tabletop position if you can. Don't let the head hang. Keep the head active, and if it gets too challenging, you can bring your chin to your chest. Push away from the floor with your feet, with your fingers, your toes, your hands. And then slowly lowering yourself all the way down. Catch your breath in whatever seated position is appropriate for you. You close your eyes, breathe down to your belly. And then open your eyes. So before we come to standing to do some challenges with your body weight in space, let's unwind the spine, let's stretch the spine, doing one of the seated twists, which is going to create more spinal bone strengthening, but also it's going to help to stretch the tissues where the nerves travel through for balance and communication in your body. So we're going to do the seated bent knee twist. And then if you have knee issues and you need to modify, please do so. So you're going to fold your blanket and then bring one buttock. I'm going to do the right side, so I'll instruct from the right side. So the right buttock is on the blanket, and I'm going to bend the right knee, bring the right heel underneath my left buttock, and arrange myself so left buttock is on the right heel, right buttock is supported by the blanket. If that right knee doesn't bend, keep the right leg straight, and then we're all going to take the left leg over. So you're in this pretzel kind of position in the bottom. May already feel some tension in that left hip joint from this position. Pushing down into the ground with your feet. Take your block behind you on the left. Push down onto the block so that you're nice and long in your spine. Right hand holds on to this front leg. Don't let this arm collapse. You want it to be lifted. You want to create this real strong structure in your shoulder girdle here, lifting your heart. Push down with your feet, push down with your hands. Exhale. And then inhale, lower ribs to the left, upper ribs and middle ribs. Lower, middle, and upper. Push down into the floor. Lower your shoulders, slide the shoulder blades towards each other, and push your shoulder blades to lift your heart. Push down with your feet, down with your hand, lengthen your spine, lift your heart. Take one more breath. You're going to slowly unwind. Bring yourself out. Take your block to the other side. And coming off the blanket, sliding the blanket over so that the blanket goes underneath the right buttock. Sorry. So the blanket now goes underneath the left buttock. Take the left leg, bend the left leg, and let the right buttock rest on the left foot. And the left buttock is on the blanket. And then take the right leg across your body. Block is behind you to create that safety in the spine. It's important when you add twisting, the forces of twisting. Holding on to that right leg, push down, get nice and tall. Exhale, and then inhale, lower ribs, middle ribs, and upper ribs. Rotate, length and rotation. Lower your shoulders, slide your shoulder blades towards each other. Take one more breath. And then slowly bring yourself out. After you do that rotational force, it's nice to come into a wide leg stretch to release some of that tension of the muscles that are attached to the pelvis. And it's also good to stretch this part of your body anyway. And then you may notice that you have some tightness here. And if you do, that's something you need to work on, because you need to have more limber aspects to your legs that attach to your body for better balance. We want to have that fluidity in the body and not be too tight and rigid. And then bring yourself out. So I'd like you to get your strap so that we can strengthen our postural muscles, which are important for balance, and stretch the upper body. So whatever variation you need to do, you may need to be here in the squatted position if your knees don't bend when we do some of the work that we're going to do. Or you could take your block and bring your block behind you in between your ankles to sit on it. So whatever you do, to choose something there, finding whatever modifications you can. So we're going to stretch the upper part of the body and then do a little bit of strengthening for the middle of the upper back. Important for posture. Take your strap really long, so as long as you can. You're going to inhale to bring the strap up and then bring the strap back behind you. Bring it forward and backwards. One more. And then bring yourself up. We're going to strengthen the rhomboids and the traps, the muscles between the shoulder blades that hold the shoulder blades towards each other. So take your strap pretty close together. Bring your strap up. This is also a good way to test your spinal alignment and to see where your spine is being held by the muscles, to see if you're tight in the front of your body and detoned in the back of the body. So you want your strap to be raised above your head. Pull out on the strap like you're trying to rip it apart. Inhale, and then exhale, slide the strap down towards the upper back. Don't touch your head. Keep the strap away from your head. So behind you and down. We want the shoulder blades on the back of the body to support balance, for fall prevention, for shoulder health, for a lot of things. Pulling out on that strap. Maybe you feel some shaking. Slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Slide the shoulder blades down towards the top of your pelvis. Inhale up and exhale down. Stay down. Pull out on the strap, slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Draw the shoulder blades down towards the top edge of your pelvis. Long spine, chin parallel towards the ground. Pulling out on the strap, sliding the shoulder blades towards each other. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself out. Take your strap off to the side. Out of your way. When it comes to fall prevention, having your area around you cleared is a very big part of that as well. So setting yourself up for success. So if you are practicing and you have props, make sure that when you put them off to the side, that you put them really away so that when you get up or when you're doing a posture and you bring your foot down, you don't have the likelihood of banging into it. And I say this because one time in a class, a woman took her strap off of her leg when she was stretching it, put it down onto the ground and didn't move it far enough away. And when she got up to stand up, she slipped on her strap. She didn't injure herself, but she did, slip and fall from, short distance. But it just goes to show that you really need to have your space cleared. So once I see something, notice something, I'm going to share that with you all. So let's take your block off to the side. Come onto your mat. We're going to come up to a standing position. So bring your foot forward, flip the back toes under, take your hands on your thigh. Weight goes back, weight comes forward, push away and bring yourself up all the way to standing. Then you're going to clear your space, take your blanket off to the side. So let's find Tadasana Mountain, posture of alignment. Bringing the toes together, a little bit more advanced, toes are together, heels are apart, or a little wider if you feel uneven or uneasy on your feet. Push your hands down, get nice and tall. This is mountain. Push your feet into the ground, push your heels into the ground. Pinky toe edges, toes. Push the top thighs back, tailbone down towards the ground. Hands reach down and back strongly. Contract your core as if you were a tube of toothpaste. So squeeze the toothpaste up into the rib cage from the sides, the back, all around, all the way from the pelvic floor up. So activate pelvic floor, activate core, long spine, lifted heart, long neck, and place your head back on top of your spine. Make sure it's not forward. Strong mountain. Push down and let your spine be long. Let's challenge balance. Move on to one foot, bend the knee, knee out to the side, bring the foot up in between the ankle and the knee. Choose a focal point. Reach down with your hands, up with your chest, long with your spine, down with your foot. If you're feeling pretty sturdy, you could start to let your gaze go up. Strong focal point will help with balance. The mind is involved in balance. Last breath. Bring yourself down, back into your mountain. Push down with your hands, down with your feet, back with your thighs, down with your tailbone, long with your spine. Lift your heart, arrange your head. Then inhale to the other side, bending the knee, toes out to the side. Bring the foot up in between the ankle and the knee. Find a focal point. And if you can, look up, look up. Last breath. Bring yourself out, back to mountain. Push down with your feet, along with your spine. And shake your hands, shake your legs. So we're going to go into a pretty challenging posture called half moon. And having a block, having a chair would be a really nice thing to do. Let me just show you this posture so you decide what's going to be the best for you. This is held for 30 seconds. So this is the half moon posture. If you have issues with balance, you could go up against a wall. It's a great place to practice, is near a wall. Having a block will bring your body up, or you could have a chair. So go ahead and get whatever you need. And then let's come into the half moon. So you bend the hip joint, not the spine. Bring your hand onto the floor, or you bring your hand onto the block. And then you load up into the leg you're going to stand on. You contract your core, bring your foot back, and then actively lift your leg here. Your hand can stay on your waist, or you could bring it up into the sky. Lift your standing leg. Lift your leg you're not standing on. Lift your leg in the air. Take one more breath. Dismount gracefully. Keep your head active. Bring yourself out. Bring yourself all the way up. Catch your breath. Let's go to the other side. Block is on the floor, or the chair is there, whatever it is you're going to do. Bending at the hip. Bring yourself forward. Contract your core. Start to lift your leg up. Make the leg active that you're lifting up. Decide where you want your hand to go. Take one more breath. Bend the leg. Bring yourself out nicely. Take your block over to the side. Come to your mountain. Calibrate yourself. And then relax. So we're going to do a little movement, balancing back and forth, like we're going to move back and forth, forward and back in our hip to challenge our hip forward, to challenge our hip back. And you're going to see to what level you can get to with this, where you could go. So we're going to be tipping forward into close to a warrior three. Maybe you get there, maybe you don't. If you take your hands together and you place your hands right at your heart, you push your heart to your hands to your heart, you'll feel the back of your body activate with that action. Then you're going to come onto one foot and take the other foot behind you. We're bending the hip. So you're going to inhale forward, let the back leg go up if it can, and then bring yourself down. So load up that hip in this forward position and see what feels appropriate for you. The next one, you're going to come forward and stay. Flex the back foot, make the back leg very active. Bending forward into that leg, long spine. No rounding the spine, this is all hip. This is warrior three. Keep your hands here. You could bring your hands back behind you, or you could bring your hands in front of you. So choose where you prefer your hand position for your warrior three. Back toes are pointing straight down towards the ground, not out to the side. Long spine. Take one more breath. Unbend your hip joint to bring yourself up. Bring yourself out. Notice that tremendous strengthening that takes place in the glutes and in the hip and in the legs. So we're going to go to the other side, paying attention, one side versus the other. Toes are pointing forward, foot goes behind you, hands are pressing to your heart, heart to your hands. And then you're going to inhale to load into that hip, introduce the action. Exhale out, inhale, exhale. The next one, you're going to stay there. You're going to inhale into this. Flex that back foot. Hands are at your heart, back in the airplane, forward into the warrior three. You choose what's appropriate for you. Long spine. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself up. Bring yourself back into your mountain. Hands are down, spine is long. Shake your legs. So that warrior three is quite a humdinger in the strength department for loading up that hip joint in front like that. That's a lot for your hip joint to manage. So a lot of strengthening, a lot of balance. Let's take the toes, flip the toes under. Stretching the feet. Feet have to work hard to balance, especially those single leg balance. You have one foot managing your entire body weight. The ankle, the foot, the muscles of the foot. So stretch your foot. So when we practice yoga, we actually strengthen our feet, which is really a great thing to do. So here is a simple challenge, yet still a challenge. Toes are pointing forward. Take the left foot back and bring the right foot in front of the left and stand in a tightrope position. Hands are down to the ground, towards the ground. Bring your body weight forward onto the right foot. Bring your body weight back onto the left foot. You could stay here in this tightrope, or you could come onto your tippy toes in the right foot, or lift the right foot up. Any variation, up towards 90, long spine. Take one more breath. And then slowly bring your foot back in front of the left foot. Stand on your feet. And then bring yourself out. Shake that hip. So that was the left hip we were standing on. Take the leg and roll the leg around in the socket. And then side to side. Bring yourself back to a neutral. Right foot is back. Bring the left foot in front of the right foot. Bring your body weight forward and your body weight back. Forward and back. Stay back in the right foot. Lift your heart, long spine. Come onto your tippy toes if you can, if you'd like. And then lift the left leg up. Strengthening that left leg, left hip flexor, left hip. And challenging that right leg, single stance. One more breath. And bring yourself back down to the tightrope. Recalibrate your body. And then all the way up. So we're going to come down onto the ground. You'll need your strap and your blanket for this. So making sure when you come down safely. So bring a foot forward. And start to bend your joints. Keep your spine nice and long. Bring yourself down. Bring yourself down onto your tushy. And then bring yourself all the way down onto the ground. Hands on the belly. Catch your breath. Get your strap. Let's take the right foot in the strap. Draw the leg in. Right foot in the strap. You decide if you want the left leg to be straight or bent. You decide. Hands around the strap. Pull down firmly to root the leg in the socket. Push the leg away from you with the muscles and now direct the leg towards the wall behind you. Pulling the leg back and pushing the leg away. Create as much tension as you could feel right where your leg attaches to your body, right by your tushy. Pull on your pelvis. Create bone building stimulation in your pelvis. Take one more breath. And then take your tension out. Take the strap in the right hand, slide the hand down. Take the left hand to the side, keep your leg really high, and then inhale to lengthen the right leg to the side. Pressing into the arch. Root the left side down if you have that leg straight. Push into the arch, leg is up towards the wall behind you. Very active, you're pulling on your pelvis. The adductors, the inner thigh muscles are pulling on the pelvis. Take one more breath. Bring your leg back up to center. Bring the left leg up into the strap. You decide right leg is straight or right knee is bent. Wrap your hands around your strap. Nice firm hold. Straight leg is important here. Pull down towards the ground. Push away with the muscles and now guide the leg towards the wall behind you. Push away and pull back. Strong forces. Don't just hang out here. Pull on your pelvis. Safely, strongly. Take one more breath. And then take the strap in the left hand, slide your hand down the strap. Long leg. Let's inhale, lengthen out to the side. Press into the arch part of your foot. Pull on your pelvis. Take one more breath. And bring your leg back up. Take your foot out of the strap. Draw your knees into your chest. Bring your legs up to the air, the arms to the air. Let everything settle. Bringing yourself into the final rest position, the last posture, Shavasana. Gently begin to deepen your breath. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And bending your knees, draw your knees into your chest. Moving side to side. And come all the way onto your side, and from there all the way up. And closing the practice Using a gentle hum, hands are to the heart, heart are to the hands. Exhale to create space. Inhale. In gratitude. Namaste. Thank you. Challenging yourself every day with balance is important for healthy aging and if you have osteoporosis and even osteopenia. Because bones don't break because they're fragile, they break because we fall. And falls are the #1 cause of the preventable cause of death worldwide, here in the States, wherever. So we want to make sure that we don't fall, and we need to keep the strength in our joints, in our muscles, in our bones. We need to keep the communication active and keep your body always online, always ready to save you from a fall. All right, so that was 12 postures, not necessarily the regular 12, some of them, but that was 12 postures. Kathy, yeah, it was a challenge. I didn't have my chair today or my wall, so I was definitely challenged on my Warrior 3 on my hip replacement side. So it's interesting for me to notice that. You're welcome, Cindy. I know you love those strong classes. Well, a lot of you here do, and I know you're capable. And then Tatiana with the knee issues. A lot of what we did today had many facets of being supportive of knee health. And so the ones that you have to load into your knee might be a challenge for you, like the Warrior 3 standing is forward tilting. So those might be a challenge. The plank, the side plank, and the bridge that we began with today is tremendous for knees. And I just got off the phone with a client this morning, someone I'm working with in London. And one of our sessions 3 weeks ago, she had knee issues. And I gave her that around the core, the plank, the side plank, the bridge. And now I've seen her 3 weeks later. She goes, oh my gosh, my knee is gone. My knee doesn't hurt. Her knee's not gone. Her knee doesn't hurt. So I know this works, ladies. And it's something you have to do every day. I'm sharing with you what I want you to do over and over and over again for all the years you have left to live your life, which for most of us is a lot, right? We're talking 40, 30, lots and lots of years. That's a lot of years. So if you pick that 100-year mark and you look at what age you are now and think about you going to that mark, how many more years do you have? And what do you want the quality of them to be like? That's why you do this all the time. Yes, Carolyn, that's going to help us with paddle tennis. Everyone else will be getting injured, but not us. Tatiana, good. Yeah, for the spine and the knee, Tatiana. Yeah, I hope so too, Stevie. I've got so many things lined up today. I'm just going to be here, but it's nice, right? Isn't this nice? A nice space. The lighting is good. Sound is good. I had to look out the window at a dog or something, and then I hear planes, but that happens at my house too. So thank you all for being here, because I couldn't be here if you weren't here. So I really appreciate you being here. Thank you. Have a beautiful day. And I bid you adieu until we see each other again. All right. Bye-bye.